Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mansfield Town News and Views. In tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about the Stevenage game. Also, going to be previewing the last two games of the season we've got, which is going to be such a dramatic end to the season as it's shaping to be. I'm very happy to be joined with Richard Bauer tonight to discuss all things Mansfield Town. First off, Rich, thanks for coming on the podcast. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, thank you, and thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no, anytime, mate. Obviously, we had you on a while back, but when we did that, it was a nightmare for my part.
It seems ages ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Like I say, we started off really well, didn't we? And then we went so many games without a win, and now here we are in the playoffs. And that's the first question, really. I mean, what have you made of this season overall?
Well, there's still so many twists and turns that can happen yet before I could make anything of this season. I mean, yeah, we had a good start. Then we were about second from bottom around October time or something like that. Then we just went on this unbelievable run. Before our last two matches, which we've obviously won, but before then, I think we'd lost about 4 out of 5 or something like that.
Yeah,
and you could hear rumblings, in certain, from certain fans and that saying, Stag's going to throw it away and that. But I think one thing that came out of the first podcast I did, I kind of pointed out that it's Nigel's first full season.
Yeah,
with this, it's his squad, it's his players.
Yeah,
and I think it shows it kind of explains actually why we did have that dip, I think, and then how we came back, because he obviously got, after a bit of time, he got everyone playing to his system and understanding the roles, etc.
Yeah.
But we did say then that it's his first season, and I know we were optimistic right from offset, but I think we need to be
Be realistic.
Have patience and keep the faith. Even if it don't go our way, we still need to remain positive. So, but yeah, hopefully, obviously, it'd be great to go up as automatic. If not, a day out at Wembley and winning at Wembley would be good.
I think it's amazing because when you see where we was last season, this season's already an improvement anyway. Because obviously we wanted to move forward, and that's what we've done. We have moved forward. It's just the odd things that's gone against us. Obviously, the referees, just that final ball, I think. But to get as far as what we have, I think any Mansfield fan would have took that at the start of the season.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's been an enjoyable season, to be fair, hasn't it? So yeah, I think you're right with that. It's interesting because you mentioned if things had gone our way, and I always remember, like early on in the season, away against Swindon, and a goal. It was definitely a goal for us. It went over the line.
Yeah,
and did it happen again other night against Carlisle? So
that's right. Jamie Murphy. Yeah, that's right.
I hope that those two drop points or missed points that we should have had don't come back. I mean, because if you look at table with them 2 extra points, then it makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
I'll tell you something else, Mark, and all where was it against Hartlepool when we were 2-0 up fairly recently, and then we should have just shut shop at that.
Yeah, in about 2 or 3 minutes they come back, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah. I hope we don't regret that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's just little things like that I think is a difference, I think, in terms of like the teams that do end up going up in the end, and it's just small margins, I think. But like I say, to get where we are is just amazing in itself. So talking about last night's game, obviously Stevenage, we knew it was going to be a hostile atmosphere in terms of Steve Evans obviously coming back first time since his departure and that. But as a whole, I thought the first half, I think Stevenage, looked like the better team, in my opinion. And in the second half, when I'd imagine they had a good team talk at half time, probably kick up the backside to say, look, come on, get into the game. And once we did that, like, it could have been 3 or 4 at least for the amount of chances we've created.
To be honest, Mark, I've not managed to catch it. But I obviously no result in that. I've seen the goals. I did hear someone say that it was like a game of two halves.
Yeah.
And I've also listened to an interview of him off Stevenage's page.
Yeah.
I thought that would be an interesting listen. He said it were a game of two halves. He was kind of expecting reception he got.
Yeah.
But then towards the end of the interview, he was like as though he were buttering us up a bit. He mentioned Caroline and John and sang their praises. He sang the general praises of the club.
Yeah.
And he said we've got a good team, and he says that he hopes that we do go up.
Yeah. That's the thing with him, isn't it? He's that kind of manager, though. He always relishes just the atmosphere and that because of how he is as a character and that. But like I was just saying to someone the other day, is that's a Stevenage fan. You know, he's the only place he's going to go is a big budget. You know, so next season, you know, they're probably going to be the biggest spenders, I think, in League Two.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. What we're going to say? Oh, going back to the goals that I saw.
Yeah.
I've seen a pitch side view, a pitch side camera view off at Stag's page.
Yeah.
And the second goal in particular looks good. The build up.
Fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I think as well, obviously Wayne coming back last night.
Yeah.
And the first time he was due back, it got cancelled suddenly. So it's had a bit of time for the fans to be ready for him, if you like. But the most important thing was obviously the result, but the energy and the focus that was on it, that it remained on the match and on the team, supporting team, because I'm sure there would have been a part of him that actually welcomed up fans' abuse, because it kind of then it detracts from the energy that our fans are using up, giving him.
Could be on the team,
Could be on the team, yeah. And I just thought, I hope that doesn't happen. But no, we got the result, big result.
Yeah, massive, mate. Absolutely massive. Like I say, we've got the 3 points, and that's all that matters. And even better, a clean sheet. And to be honest with you, mate, I don't think, apart from that chance in the first half, they didn't threaten Bishop either. To be honest, we were quite solid for at it. And again, even with 11 men on the pitch, I still thought we were the better side on the night. And we got the job done. Let's get down some comments here. Ryan, super. Go on, mate. No, go on, mate. You were saying, mate.
So sorry, what was that? Sorry, Mark.
No, you were saying something before. Sorry.
I forgot what I was going to say.
All right.
You mentioned another clean sheet.
Yeah.
Which is good, especially on the back of like the losing streak. It's good to get. We had a clean sheet again on Saturday, didn't we, as well?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
2 consecutive clean sheets, which is good, because I thought on Saturday.
Yeah.
I know it were fairly convincing win, because Crawley didn't look up too much, but no. I thought we looked a bit bereft of confidence and a bit low on confidence.
Yeah.
So it's good now that we've got 2 consecutive wins again, 2 consecutive clean sheets.
Yeah.
Because the next match against Salford, if I'm right, if they got an outside chance of making playoffs if they win all their matches.
Yeah, if they win both theirs, depending on other teams, yeah, they could get in the playoffs. So yeah, that's what I mean. It's such a big game for both sides because
Yeah,
again, even Forest Green's going to be a big game because even though they're promoter, they still want to go up as champion. Same with Exeter. So
yeah,
it's the two massive games because the teams that have got something to play for, and they're usually
yeah,
the worst teams to play against, really. But yeah, like I say, you just got to be ready for it, though. You've just got to be ready for it. I mean, all we can do is win our two games. If we can do that and we don't go up automatically, then at least we've done our part. You know, that's the way I
yeah,
look at it. You know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
right. Let's get down some comments. Evening, Ryan. Got a feeling that it's going to be a repeat of 2004 season, but let's hope not. We need automatic. Well, like I just said there, Ryan, I mean, depending on how other results go, if Exeter win all of their remaining games, I think if Port, yeah, so if Exeter win their games and we win ours, then I think we'll be up then, if I'm not mistaken. But like I say, if we win our next two games and if we don't go up, then I still think it's a good season, to be honest with you, to get into the playoffs. In his first full season, like most managers can't do that. And I know it'd be frustrating if we don't go up, of course it will, but at least we've moved forward under Nigel, and that's what we all wanted was progression, and that's what we've done this season.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Evening, Paul. Tim. Evening, Mark. Great second half last night. I thought Bare Knuckles Jim had another decent game. Be nice to see Quinn's back for the next two games. Well, that's what I mean. Without Stephen Quinn in the side, it's just the midfield looks so different, you know, because he's obviously such a big leader in there, and it's amazing to think of a player of his age can still get him centre back like that. It's amazing, and it's just testament to the guy that he can still get about in that. But it just shows you how much of a big player that he has been for us, Stephen Quinn, this season.
I think he's formed a decent partnership and all with McLaughlin on left hand side.
Yeah,
because I don't think Quinn weren't team boy right at the beginning of the season. I can't recall him. I don't know, but I know he's definitely become established.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of players that doesn't really get mentioned a lot is Elliot Hewitt. I think he's been amazing this season. I mean, to start off with, he did start off a bit slow, and you know Nigel called him out, and as well as Rawson. But to me, I think he's our most improved player, or one of them, in my opinion. He's just so consistent, Elliot Hewitt, and I think he deserves more credit for me. I think he's been outstanding for me.
Yeah. And Aikens were brought in as like who can play at right back, and he did. I can't remember who against, but he's played a couple of matches at right back, and whether that was purely to give Hewitt some cover, or it could have also psychologically spurred him on to just to keep him on his toes as well.
Yeah, true.
Because I thought Aikens did all right at right back. I'm glad he scored an all at weekend, by the way, Aikens.
Yeah, I said this last week. I think I said it. I think with Aikens, it's just confidence because he does a lot of the things right. He takes players on. I just think the only things that let him down, in my opinion, from what I've seen of him, is just his first touch and just for him to maybe take a shot on. I think, but hopefully in these next two games, he can be such a big player for us because he's been there and done that with Nigel. So they're the kind of players that you really want to step up, really, and. I know he's split opinion, Aikens, but one thing he can't knock is his work rate. His work rate's phenomenal at this level. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that, Mark. He puts a shift in, and he's a strong player as well.
Yeah,
he can hold ball up. He hassles defenders.
Yeah.
I think before his recent goal, I think he could. He was definitely aware that he was getting a few sections that cried on his back, and it does, and it will show in his playing. It will show in his game. So I'm glad. I'm really glad he got that goal on Saturday. And like I say, hopefully now, he could have confidence to go on and score a couple more before the end of the season.
Hopefully, and again, it's crazy this season because obviously with Ollie Hawkins is another player that has played centre back and he's done quite well there, and he's bringing him on to be going up front as well. So it's like a lot of the players have had to be very versatile this season, which is another thing that you don't often see at clubs, but it just shows you the strength and depth that we've got at the squad. Kieran Wallace is another player that he's brought in January, and to be honest, I don't think he's done bad since he's come off the bench. He calms things down a lot, and I think that's what you need in matches at times.
Yeah. Like you say, the flexibility. You look at the lineups, and he might just tweak one player or a couple of players, but
yeah,
he'll have the players playing.
Yeah,
play previously, but they might be in a different position, and it just does show you the versatility of the players and what we've got with the squad.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another reason why Akins has been brought into the club. I mean, obviously, we know he can score goals, but at the same time, if you've got injuries, you can play him out full-back, out wide, and again, it's big. It's good to have that with squad players. Let's get down to some comments. Evening, Paul. Thought Perch and O'Toole were brilliant last night. Akins covers every blade of grass, but I just wish his first touch and passing was a little more refined. Yeah, we're just saying there briefly about Akins. His work rate, phenomenal. Again, I can't knock his work rate. I don't know the running stats or anything, but I'm sure he'd be up there with like the fastest players on the pitch, in my opinion. He's just everywhere. But yeah, it's just one of them. When players go without scoring in a few games, it can really affect. I mean, look at Bowery. Bowery had the same thing at the start of the season, and look what happened to him. He's turned out to be a fan favourite. So, when you do give players time to settle in, then that's when, in my opinion, you see the best of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Perch and O'Toole as well, like you mentioned there, Paul. Just two solid, experienced centre halves. That's exactly what you need, in my opinion. And it's no surprise since they've been in the team, we've kept 2 clean sheets, and I think that just says it all in itself for me, Rich. Let's have a look.
When we went on our Oh, sorry.
No, go on. You were saying, go on, mate.
Oh no, sorry. I thought you were doing more comments than that.
No, you're right.
The run that we went on as well, the back four we had with mostly, I think it was McLaughlin started at left. McLaughlin, JJ, Hawkins, and then Hewitt, and then we had that. With Newport County away, we should have had 3 points, and we just, I don't know what happened on the day. Did Quinn get sent off or took off before we got sent off? JJ got another booking or something, so he were suspended. But the consequences of that is that's when wheels started to come off, if you like.
That's right.
But then again, people like Rawson stepped in, did well, to be fair. And then it would shortly after then the wheels were starting to come off, and it took us a while before we were able to get both Hawkins and JJ back in at centre half and get that solid 4 back. And I know he's currently playing Perch, but Perch brings a bit of experience and all, doesn't he? So I couldn't play anyway last match because he just had his second baby or something like that.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah.
So yeah.
We've got a comment for you actually tonight, Rich. Stephen Bonsall ask Richard if he knows Dean O. No, Dean, no.
Oh, Dino, no Nino.
Yeah.
I've seen him about in that. I've seen him about. Yeah.
I don't know. I love it. Ryan, yes, Mark, defo agree. Been a good season, even if we don't go up. Well, I mean, like we've just said there, yes, there has been games and situations where it has gone against us. But like I say, when you take a look back in it and think, well, we had that bad start to the season, 14 games, I think it was, where we didn't get a win. as well as where we was last season. We have come a long way under Nigel, and even if we don't go up this season, I think Nigel will, bring in some changes, and I could see us challenging again next season because we've got a manager that's been there, he's done that, and again we're going in the right direction, in my opinion. He's actually got the town reunited. He's got everybody interested in Mansfield Town. He's brought it back to the buzz to the town. You can see that around Mansfield.
Yeah. I mean, the attendances and the away attendances as well. I mean, I've managed to get to many away matches, but some of the travelling support that you see on social media has been brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Even in that bad run that we was on, fans were still there. Early in the season, the support's always been there, and it feels like if we did go up this season, it would, it would just be, if anything, it would make up for that bad run that we've had, really, and it would really just. It'd be the icing on the cake. But in these last two games, anything can happen in football. But that's why football is such an amazing game, because being as tight as what it is, it would be just a season to remember just for that. It's just going to be an amazing 2 games into the season.
Yeah. The first season back after COVID as well. It's first season back for all fans, so it's going to be a memorable season.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It really is. Let's have a look. Evening, Dougie. We played well second half, and Steve Evans praised us last night, and he hopes we go up. Yeah, you mentioned that earlier on, and like I say, I don't know if he generally means that or anything, but the main thing is we got the 3 points, and we've just got to focus on ourselves really, and just not worry about the other results, because it's when you start doing that, then that's when the wheels do truly come off, when you start doing that.
And Exeter got Northampton. Is that, when are they playing? They're up soon, aren't they? And
yeah, it's soon. Yeah, and then obviously Port Vale's got Newport, I believe.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean. It's just really insane when you think. But Salford, again, let's talk about Salford briefly, because they're a game side, that's got to be in the playoffs as well. So that's not going to be an easy game. But once again, backed by amazing Mansfield fans, it's going to be a sellout away attendance for us. So again, can't wait to get down to that one.
Yeah, it'll be a good atmosphere again, a strong support. But I think looking at, I know we've only got 2 left now, but as you looked at the remaining fixtures, I would look at Salford thinking don't underestimate that, and especially because they have to win. Yeah. They have to win. So that's gonna be a tough match. That
it will. I mean, every game is tough anyway at this stage of the season, even when you're playing against teams that's not playing for anything, because. Like Stevenage, for example, they're safe in that, but they're still playing for contracts. So, they're never going to lay down and die for you,
No.
Right, Dougie, 4-2 on Monday, lads. Hopefully, let's just hope we get the 3 points. Even if it's a scruffy 1-0 win, let's just get the 3 points if we can, I mean, this is how tight it is. It could come down to goal difference. That's how tight this season is,
and our goal difference isn't great, is it, in comparison to some others? I don't think it is anyway.
Yeah, Port Vale is better, yeah. Let's have a look. Evening, Paul. Thought Maris was outstanding in midfield last night. Run himself ragged last night, and also nice to see Evans just get his desserts. But also JJ, Perchy, Lapsley all had good games as well last night. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think they all played well. It was one of them games where everybody put a shift in and they just got the job done in the end. But like I say, we knew the fans were going to get on Evans' back, but it was good that it didn't affect it with all the things going off with Steve Evans, that it didn't affect our performance and the result. And that was the most important thing going into it.
Yeah. And it's good to see Lapsley back as well, isn't it? And scoring, and because he were we've been out injured and stuff, and he lost a bit of form. But it's good to see him, because I'd quite rate him. I think he's quite a creative player, and so it's good to get him back. And
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest with you, I think we can all agree on this, but I don't know. I don't see how it was a red card at Forest Green. It was never a red card in a million years, And again, another decision that went against us, And it's just you need to be talking about officials or decision making because you should create more chances than that. But when it's decisions like that, it's just it can ruin a team season when you look back on it.
Yeah. I heard the linesman and the ref away against Carlisle. I heard they were particularly bad.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously for that incident, it should have been a goal, but just overall, just bad refereeing again. But this is what you're kind of up against, aren't you, in this league? It's just some of the decisions you just question, don't you? Let's have a look. Tim, how skillful is Rhys Oates? A defender's nightmare. Not many centre forwards put themselves about like he does. A pleasure to watch. I couldn't have put it better myself, really, to be honest with you, Rich. What's your thoughts on Rhys Oates?
Yeah. Well, when we went on that run, it was like we'd got the old like classic centre forward pairing. We've got Bowie, like the big strong player, and then we've got like Oates running off him and all. The big strong one, and then the smaller, faster one, the skillful one.
Yeah.
I believe it's 50-50 for every match remaining this season.
Yeah.
But I think the approach is, as we saw on Saturday, is play him. If he's, unless he's obviously he can't, play him and get into a position where we're winning, and then bring him off, get him off, and save him for next match. Because it does create a lot, and it does run it like the listener just said there. He is a defender's nightmare. When you've got a fast player like that who's not afraid to run at you with ball, I
mean, it just shows you how the strength and depth we've got in the squad. When even players like Danny Johnson can't even get played as well, so it just shows you how strong we've got as a team.
Yeah, because he would getting some game time at the beginning of the season, and I think I don't know. I won't be surprised if he has a part to play at some point if he pops on and gets us a goal. But it must be frustrating for him. But that's the quality of the squad.
Yeah. I mean, like what Nigel's always said, you've got to be ready as a substitute. You've got to be ready for when your chance comes, and I mean, that's what I'm saying. You've got to be ready for that, and because everyone can still play a big part. I mean, if it does go into the playoffs and players get injured, then that's when you've got to step up to the mark. Then,
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, let's get down to some more of your comments, guys. Let's have a look. Paul, Mark, Richard, maybe a little too early to chat this, but do we think DJ will be with us next season? Depends where we are next season, to be fair. I think that's a big thing in itself, but I'd like to think so, because I do feel as though we'd like to see more of him, personally speaking, but I suppose it just depends on where we are and the player himself, really. What's your thoughts on it, Richard?
Well, I think I'd like to see him still here. I think what you just said there, it applies to quite a few players in relation to where we are next season.
Yeah.
And what because there's players coming out of contract and stuff, and players pushing mid-30s.
Yeah.
So it's but it's in the nature of football, isn't it? But we could have a few exits come end of season. Depends where we're at and what who we're preparing for.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like until the season's finished, you can't really say at this stage, can you? You've just got to focus on the games and then see where we end up. Basically, I think it's fair to say that. But So football aside, I believe you've got a new book out or coming out.
I've got one. Now, I've not got a release date as yet because my publisher's got some family serious illness issues, so it's kind of put, understandably, my publication date back.
Yeah.
So I'm unable to give you, a date. For anybody who's interested, I do currently have a couple of books out.
Yeah.
One's called Sanctuary. It's an inspirational bestseller. And my first book is called Postmodern. They're both available at Waterstones and Amazon.
Yeah.
What I would like to promote, Mark, is on the 15th of May, which is I think that's the same. That's the following weekend, into after Forest Green.
That's right. Yeah.
So hopefully we're like in celebratory mood. But on 15th of May, which is a Sunday, I'm the headlining act of the Nottingham Poetry Festival.
Oh wow!
But the event, we're hosting it in Mansfield at the Toffee Hut.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant for its time because Mansfield's never held an event. The Nottingham Poetry Festival, it's been going a number of years. It's one of the biggest poetry festivals in UK. And this event that I'm doing, we've managed to get it to Mansfield for the first time, and with closing act. There's myself and two other girls who will be performing. Phoebe and Emily. It's extra special for those two because they've never done it before. So it's a massive thing for them, but they're going to be absolutely brilliant. Tickets are £10. They are limited, so if anyone's interested, have to be quick. But yeah, that's the evening of Sunday. Just double check. Sunday the 15th of May. The Toffee Hut in Mansfield from 7:30 till 9:30, and it'd be brilliant if any fans, obviously because I wrote this is Mansfield, it'd be brilliant if any fans wanted to come down and show their support for Mansfield. Mansfield. Yeah. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Yeah, that's what I mean. Just like, obviously this is Mansfield, obviously a massive thing for you. And, just that must be amazing. Just hear that before every home game. Just that must be, it must be amazing, I mean, the first game of the season, you did that, didn't you, in front of the crowd as well? I mean, that must have been something to look back on.
Yeah, it was brilliant. My nerves were going through roof. Before I went on, when I was talking to Alan, who does channels, I was pacing up and down, and my heart was beating. But I'm happy with how it went. It went really well. And as regards having it on the scoreboard, I first saw it. I took my nephew a number of weeks back, and to see it, I mean, I knew that they'd be doing it. They told me they'd be doing it, but to see it for the first time, and it's especially when you were your young nephew and all, it's quite a proud moment.
Yeah,
and I know this gets said. Sorry, I know it gets said a lot, but I wish the whole Tannoy system were a bit lighter. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's the only thing to it. But hopefully they can do that, because just so the whole stadium could hear. Because when you've got fans chanting, and you know what I mean, it's like you can hear something, but just like their voice. But I get what you're saying. Well, either way, just to get on the big screen, you've made it now. You're on the big screen, so you've made it.
I'll tell you what, Mark and all, and me and my mate was Stephen, who sent in that question earlier about Dino. That's my mate Stephen. We have been manifesting all season, and this was more so when we were going through the sticky patch, when we were losing. We were manifesting the oh, come on, let's manifest playoffs kind of thing. Let's be positive. We can get to playoffs.
Yeah.
because I've got I'd love us to get to Wembley because I've got visions. I don't know like how the clubs stand and what the like the understanding is with officials at Wembley or out like that. But I'd love to go on pitch and perform it at Wembley before
Oh,
if we get there.
yeah, that would be. Yeah, it'd be amazing if the club could do that. Say if we get to the final and that, and then go and win it. Because I mean, obviously you want to go up automatically. It's easy, you're saving yourself the playoffs, but it's the best way to go up in it at Wembley Stadium, the home of football. But yeah, for you that must be like one of the best ever things you'd have to do that.
I couldn't. Yeah, but but putting that to one side, I just hope we go up. That's the most important thing. I just hope we go up.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Or even better, if we go up automatically, go on the pitch again, and just make sure everyone's quiet, and then just do it then.
I've got visions. I think it's very likely that I'll probably do it, whether it's first match of every season, or something like that. I'm sure I'll be back on pitch at some point.
I mean, to be honest with you, I think
might even be.
Go on. Sorry again. Say again, mate. Sorry.
No, it don't matter. Carry on. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say it was. I think, to my knowledge, I could be wrong there, but it was one of the highest home attendances as well this season as well. So even now it's although that might be beaten comment last game of the season, but try and do it then if you can. Maybe that would be a good thing to do.
Yeah, I could do. Which match I did it with biggest attendance since '74, I think.
Yeah,
I know it's since been beaten this season, but it's Who says you couldn't? Who says you couldn't take poetry to masses? In a
Well, the thing is, it's different because you don't see any club doing that. I mean, not like at any level, to be fair. And just when especially for younger fans as well, seeing it on the screen, seeing the history of the club as well, it just makes you proud, doesn't it, to be from Mansfield? As more so the Stags fan, be like, this is where we're from, and well, like you've said in the title, this is Mansfield, and that's what makes a poet so good because everyone can relate to it.
Yeah, it's been there's. I don't know if you've heard, but there's recently been a film documentary made called
Red
to Blue, yeah. And because obviously my poems, it's about Mansfield, and it touches on our actual town as well, and the history and the mine, they asked me to go and perform at the premiere for their film. Because it's all fitting, and it just encapsulates the town and is representative of the town. You even get people who were not from Mansfield, let's say. Even some Chesterfield fans who I know, they've admitted that they've listened to it, and you can tell that they respect it, that it's done in a way that they commend it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it'll stand the test of time as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that's always going to be there forever. Like, so, just because again, it's inspirational, and it's especially for like fellow poets like yourself, up and coming poets, can just look at that and think, well, it sky's the limit, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I know it's all this writing thing. I don't know. It's just kind of boomed in recent years, and to be asked by your hometown club to write something that represents the football club in the town, and then to go, to perform. It's I can't even say it's stuff that dreams are made of, because it's that such things never even entered my head, as a possibility.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's what I mean. So you just do a poet, normal poet. You don't think of anything. The next thing it was just a complete shock to you when the club got in touch with you, then asking if you to do it. Then.
Yeah. I can remember. I think I'd been out for a week, and I'd been out night before or something, and anyway, I came back and I was sat on my garden bench, right, and I'm just flicking through all my emails, and a lot you just delete, and then there were one, and and I had to like look. One of them I looked, and I
Yeah,
had to like, look closer and look again and reread it.
yeah,
And I remember, I think I rang my dad up. I might have even rang my mate Steve up, who's commented tonight. I like listen, I like listen to this, and I think I actually read it out word for word because I was still like taking it on board myself, and I just so they could just listen to it like.
yeah,
So it came from nowhere, and they said that that they were the club are fans of mine. That they've been following me for a while on my social media and me with my poetry and my writing.
yeah,
And would I be interested? Would I be interested
mm,
in writing something for not something for the club, but something that also represented the town itself? And I'm like, well, yeah, of course, yeah. So I'm more or less, yeah. Um, Contacted them straight away, and yeah, set things in motion. If I remember rightly, they were like, right, well, that's brilliant. Right, on bit of they weren't. We didn't have much of a time scale though to do it in. They were like, right, but we need it done for such and such.
yeah,
But no, we all work well together.
yeah.
And it's I'm really proud of it. Yeah, it's a good piece. Yeah, yeah.
So, obviously you've got this new book coming out. I know you don't know a release date yet,
Yeah.
but how long does it take you then to like do a book then, like just like it for yourself?
How long's the writing process take me?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, well, my last book came out about 2 years ago, and everything I write is chronological.
right,
So I did my first book, and everything in that collection is from a period of about 5 years.
yeah,
Then I
right,
did my second book, Sanctuary, which was my last book,
mhm,
and I kind of collate together stuff that I've written in that period of time. So Sanctuary came out. So anything then that I've written
yeah,
um, with other, my next book's got a theme of nature to it.
right,
So anything that I've written since my last book came out that I've written that is nature based will
yeah,
be in this book. It's called Pleasures in the Pathless Woods,
mm,
and it's about it kind of follows a journey of you basically you go off life's designated path.
yeah,
You lose your way. You can end up in some dark woods, some dark places,
yeah,
which um, also means psychologically as well. And it's like the deeper you get lost in woods,
yeah,
the darker as you go. But the darker places you go, what always follows darkness is lightness, and it brings back like the beauty as well. So it's a very positive book. It's an inspiring book. It's about in a nutshell, where you can get lost in your life kind of thing, but you find your way back. Yeah.
yeah, brilliant. Yeah, really can't wait to see the release to that. And like I say, just obviously when you know a release date, when obviously just by all means promote it on the page, and I'll be doing the same on the podcast, mate.
Nice one. Thanks a lot, Mark. That's brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, it's good for the town as well, Mansfield, because you don't see this very often, and again, it's great to have something different in the town because again, it's people get to have a day out and also be around friends and family as well, and that's what it's all about, though, bringing people together and just like what football does, really.
Yeah, and going back to this poetry festival, this last where we're closing for poetry festival and bringing it to Mansfield for the first time.
Yeah,
What we want to do, there's a small collective of us. There's four of us at the moment, four local writers,
right.
two that I've already mentioned, Emily and Phoebe. The writers, they write poetry, but they've never had the courage or confidence or even anywhere to do it.
Yeah,
So we're doing this at the Toffee Hut. but what we want to do is we want to try and generate enough interest and to inspire others as well who write, whether it's poetry or whatever they write, but give them somewhere to go, like on a regular basis, whether we meet on a monthly basis,
Yeah.
just talk about a few ideas what we're doing, and to put on like a monthly event where we can encourage other like local writers, local poets,
Yeah.
and give them a platform, because you find that poetry is it's a form of expression. It's, for me, it's my therapy,
Yeah.
and you find that people who are introverted and keep themselves to themselves, and they often have a lot going through their head.
Yeah.
You often find these people express themselves through writing. And it's just a great way to then giving these people a forum and a platform to go and be heard and express themselves.
Yeah, and like I say, hopefully that can grow the more times you do
Yeah,
it. Just, I think, as well as I think there is a big thing there for people to get into because, but when people get the opportunity to do that, then maybe they can see that this is again like it gets people's confidence growing, and yeah, it's
yeah,
amazing. It's just getting out there basically.
yeah, and it can help individuals with their confidence, and I mean, look at what's happened with me. I've never planned any of this,
No.
but it's such an exciting journey. You never know where it's going to take you, but also with some of the stuff that you might read out or you write.
Yeah.
It can come from a dark place, because at the end of the day, like I say, it's your therapy. So you express yourself when you've been in some dark places in life.
Yeah.
Whether it's through loss and you find that your poetry can actually help others as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really positive thing, and it'd be great if we could get it up and running and on a regular basis in Mansfield. So if there's anyone out there who'd like to come and show their support or get involved, contact me on Facebook, Richard C. Bauer. Oh yeah, it'd be brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah, like I say, we'll spread the word on the page and get more people involved. Absolutely, we've got the full support of the page. Absolutely, mate.
nice one.
But yeah, just last few questions here.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're on the clubs program as well. That must be another massive thing for you as well.
Yeah.
So similar kind of thing. They got in touch with you about that, and that must have been a massive thing for you as well when the club asked you to do that. Then.
Yeah. I've been well. I've finished. Well, I've done that for this season. Basically, I've been interviewing. I've been doing the Golden Archive section,
Yeah.
which is a news section. I suggested it, and yeah, it's interesting to talk. To get to talk to some players as well. You can, I don't know. You can build up like preconceived ideas or get ideas about certain players.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some stuff that I haven't. It's not been able to be printed in
Yeah.
match day.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I've got like no massive vote, but Darryl Clark gave me one. He told me one time, because the club and Radio Mansfield weren't getting on a summer. I think Radio Mansfield stopped. I don't know whether they'd stopped broadcasting matches or something. I don't know ins and outs, but yeah, Darryl Clark told me that once after a match, they had a phone in on Radio Mansfield, and he got absolutely. He had a few beers. He says he was absolutely hammered.
Yeah.
And he rang Radio Mansfield up and like get him an earful. It was. There's a few others. When I interviewed George Foster, what's very striking about George Foster is how much of a respectful and responsible man he is.
Yeah.
Obviously, is managed and captained the club. To be honest, I think when I interviewed him, I think he was he was Chesterfield wanted at the beginning of the season, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
But putting that to one side, he said, and he was very tactful with how he said it. He says there's many stories that he's witnessed at time at the club, but because he's always been in a position of responsibility, either as captain or manager. He says there's a lot that I'm not going to tell you, and I really admired his how he still had so much respect for the club and love for the club, and how he still carried himself with that mentality of a manager and a captain, and absolutely brilliant.
It's good as well. I mean, obviously, I want to say thanks as well for getting some of these contacts as well, because, like I say, appreciate you doing that as well for me. So I want to say thank you as well.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. It's great because I don't know if you noticed it as well, but the players are quite enthused by it all, aren't they? And I think the majority of them that I asked if they'd be interested in a podcast, they all more or less jumped at it. It's like it's an opportunity for them to relive the career, the youth, and just it brings it all back for them. So no problem. Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you seen the Martin Pemberton one, but when I interviewed him, it was the first time he spoke about it in nearly 20 years, and it's really took it back. Because at one point I said to him, I was only about 6 or 7 when I saw you play, and it completely shocked him because, seeing me growing up and he's in his 50s now, it's like, bloody hell, how long has that been? 20 years, it's insane.
Yeah, you're right. I spoke to some, or tried speaking to some. Billy Dearden were one, and but it's so much time had elapsed, like that they find it difficult to remember, which I couldn't quite get my head around, because I thought if some really funny stories happen, you do, but no, you're right. They're having to think about it because a lot of time's elapsed, a lot over years.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's like they've moved on, they've had different lives, and I think we do that in general, anyways. People, generate things anyway. But it's just especially when you've had so much happen in your life, you look back on it, and sometimes that's why it's best to have pictures, because then that way you can remember things.
Yeah. Like the 20 years ago anniversary. I think who were it? So I'm just looking at my list of. I think it would it might have been Les Robinson or Wayne Cordon. They couldn't believe it. They were 20 years ago. They were talking naturally about the time and promotion, and then it kind of dawned on them, like, bloody hell, it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Because and all the in team, like Cordon, like Assel, and players like that, and Lawrence, they all seemed quite youthful as well, didn't they? We had quite a young team then.
Yeah.
And to think, that 20 years ago, you still visualising in that, with that mindset, don't you? That the youthful players kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, that's the thing, and it's just amazing just to relive stories, because obviously you don't always get to know the ins and outs at the time, because when they're playing, it's a different story, but when they've retired and that, they can just turn around and just basically have a free reign. They don't have to worry about saying this, or because you know what clubs are like now, they have to make sure you're saying this, and not robots, but you've got to be careful how you say things. But nowadays, the players can just say what they want, and that's what's amazing about talking to former players, because they can just basically say what it was like,
Yeah. I did, because we've mentioned Wembley. I did talk. I interviewed a player towards the end of the season, and I'm not going to mention his name, but it's pertinent because it involves Wembley, and when we were there at '87, and it was a prominent player for us, and he was told that he wouldn't be making the squad.
Oh.
And he he says he would. Oh, I just can understand. He were gutted, and that's how he said it was so sad because he ended up leaving Mansfield and he never played for Mansfield again. And but it's just there were no like malice or odd reasoning as to why he didn't make this. It's just football, isn't it? And like opinions and on date manager thought. And he was told before, and he was still invited. Obviously, as part of the club, he was still kind of expected to go, kind of thing. And he says, but he says he was that distraught by it, not in the realise that the reality that he wouldn't be playing at Wembley.
Yeah.
He says it was gut wrenching, and he says, and as things panned out, he says, little did I realise, but I'd also played my last time for Mansfield, and he moved on. It's not if you give it some thought, you'll be able to work out who it is. But out of confidence, I'm not going to say his name. But it was someone who played regular. So,
Yeah.
But yeah. It's some like I say, some stories just can't go into make it into print. I've still got them all recorded. Right, yeah. I'll have to go through. In fact, I'll have to go through them and publish an X-rated version.
That would be amazing. That would just could imagine because you know what footballers get like in training or nights out like. I mean, back in players you mentioned there, George Foster. I mean, back in them days, you'd have a drink and that, and then you just go and play.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's some good stuff.
But like I say, when some of the players, obviously back in the 20 years ago, for example, or even longer, depending on which player you're interviewing, you tell them about the club now, and they think this isn't the same club as I used to see. Obviously with the training grounds, and they just can't believe it's the same club really. But they all seem to say the same thing about Mansfield. It's a nice club where everyone sticks together, everyone knows everybody and stuff, and it's like we've never changed. It's like we've always remained the same, and I think that's what makes a club because when you've got players that it's an identity, isn't it? Essentially.
Yeah, and something that I get a lot from a lot of former players is that how Mansfield is still the first team that they look out for, on a Saturday, and how much. Most, if not all, have said how much they love playing for Mansfield Town.
Yeah.
And how they had, not necessarily great times because some of them, they played in when we got relegated and stuff like that. It says, but they always look back fondly and love the time at the club, and still look out for the results to this day. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Last couple of questions here for you, mate. What are you predicting them for us then? A playoff spot or automatic, or is it? It's just very uncertain. I know it's a tough question, but it's hard to say. It's hard to say.
I think we're going. I think we're going to beat Forest Green on the last match of the season.
Yeah.
We only lost 1-0 to them at then, and a man sent off and all.
Yeah.
And I understand. I mean, I know that they're already promoted, so you could look at it like that. But I also understand that they want the title as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But I've got a feeling we're going to beat them. I think Salford is going to be a tough match. I've not answered your question, am I? No, we're going to go up automatic. How's about that for positivity?
Yeah, I can't. Absolutely. I think that's the best place to leave it, to be honest. But let's say, that's all we can say. Because, like I say, anything can happen in a season, especially in games. I mean, look at the last week's result. Everything went for us then, and here we are now. So let's leave it at that, mate. But thanks again, Rich, for taking your time out. I really do appreciate it, and everything that you do for the club. Obviously, the poetry and the match day programme, and I think I speak on all Mansfield fans when I say just thanks, mate, and keep doing what you're doing.
Nice one. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Mark. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, when is it again? Is it the 15th, you say, of May?
It's just last. Sunday the 15th of May at the Toffee Hut. Tickets are £10. It's from 7:30 till 9:30. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, brilliant stuff, mate. And like I say, whenever you get a release date of your book, like I say, by all means, promote it on the page. And yeah, so get yourself down there on May 15th, guys, down the Toffee Hut, and meet Richard and check it out, basically. And yeah. But yeah, thanks again, guys, for tuning into the podcast as always. Let's hope when we next speak, we'll be talking about automatically. So yeah, brilliant night again, Rich. Thanks again, mate.
Nice one. Thanks a lot, Mark. Thank you.
You're welcome, mate.